As the man stepped out of the car, he felt a sudden impact. Within a few steps, he noticed a warm sensation on his neck. Stumbling back home, his only wish was to see his daughter one last time. Crawling painfully, with the tape recorder he had bought for his daughter still hanging from his body, the man called out to her. But his daughter was in a deep slumber and didn't hear her father's cries. Eventually, the man, a police officer, succumbed to his injuries and died from excessive blood loss. The next day, his colleague arrived at the house with a cake. As he approached the staircase, he noticed bloodstains on the steps, instantly sensing that something was wrong. Quietly opening the door, he was greeted by a heart-wrenching scene. The man lay motionless on the floor next to the cake. The little girl, unaware of the concept of death, simply thought her father was exhausted and had fallen asleep. The colleague, faced with this situation, was at a loss for what to do. He slowly walked over to the girl, crouched down, and comforted her in a gentle voice. Although the suspect, Jack, was quickly apprehended, he was sentenced to a mere 15 years due to insufficient evidence. The 16 victims' families in the courtroom burst into tears, and the scene descended into chaos. Even the police officers couldn't resist the urge to beat up the murderer. Only the little girl stood still, silently observing everything. She stared at Jack's face, etching his features into her memory. If the law couldn't sentence him to death, she would take revenge into her own hands. Jack, however, coldly looked in another direction. The man who had provided the evidence that led to his 15-year prison sentence was his childhood best friend. They had always enjoyed hunting small animals together, but as they grew older, animals no longer satisfied them. In the end, they turned against each other over a woman. 15 years later, Jack was released from prison. The colleague from 15 years ago had become the police captain, but he never forgot his former captain. The little girl had also grown up. On the surface, she appeared gentle and lovable, but no one knew that in her solitary room, she had been searching for the truth and waiting patiently for 15 years to exact her revenge. Meanwhile, Jack, now a free man, checked into a hotel. He had a vague suspicion that someone was following him. Sure enough, his former best friend was just outside the room. He silently opened the door and pulled out a knife, quietly approaching the bedside. Just as he was about to strike, he sensed something was amiss. He yanked off the covers, only to find the bed empty. His gaze then shifted towards the bathroom.